Another topic you have. I have no idea what this is.
Yeah, because I think you'd like it.
Remy
Bader.
What's this?
It's a woman.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Do you know who that is, Christian? Okay. Remy Bader she was a girl on TikTok who got a pretty big following for being plus size. And she would try on different clothes and things. And she had like a plus size women community that followed her. And like, she was really body positive, really sweet, right? Just she feels like a lot of these clothing places didn't have sizes for the women her size. So she would fight for that. And it actually worked a lot of the time. They would come out with sizes for these women. And I think Khloe Kardashian really likes her. She was just on her podcast because Khloe's all about that, right? Because she's gone up and down in weight in her life. So her Good American line has from like 0 to whatever. You know, anybody can have jeans from Khloe's line. Okay. So anyway, this Remy chick was very big. Like, I don't know weights, but you can just look her up. She would get comments, you know, people are mean on TikTok or wherever. She'd get comments saying she's too fat. But then she'd have the people who say, you know, oh, we love you because you love your curves and all these things, right? Well, at one point she said, I'm just not going to talk about my weight anymore. I'll still try on the clothes and do the things for you guys, but I don't want to talk about my weight anymore because apparently what people didn't know is she was sick from being so fat. She was having organ issues, obviously. She said on Khloe's podcast that her legs she had a limp. Her knees were so fucked up. No one would know, but under like a dress, she would have like Crocs on because she was limping and she was in so much pain all the time from being big. And she didn't want to tell everybody about this. It's her business, right? So she has weight loss surgery. Okay. And over the last year, she's dropped. She lost 140 pounds in a year. They're pissed at her whole following. Like, it's insanity. I mean, some girls have come out and be like, why are you so mad at her? Even like bigger girls are like, she can do what she wants to do. It's her body. What are you talking about? And they're like, we're the ones who gave you this following. And you are going back on your word saying like, you used to like love your curves and you fought for big women. And now you're skinny. And she looks very fit. She's skinny. She looks great. Yes. Right. They were saying, and I want your opinion, is that since she built her brand, I guess, on being a plus size girl, and then for a whole year, she like showed herself doing Pilates and stuff, but didn't talk about the weight loss surgery. People thought she was on like Ozempic and stuff, and she wasn't at the time or whatever. She didn't tell anybody what she was doing because before that, she said, I'm not talking about it anymore. Well, probably because she was about to go through weight loss surgery. And they're saying we had a right to know. We had a right to know what you're doing, how you're skinny now. And you just stopped talking about it. Do you think they have a right to know?
Oh, I have a lot to say on this, and I'm glad you brought it up because this is a topic that this whole thing really pisses me off. Mm-hmm. Because it started with Adele. Adele on her own, there was no pressure. She just decided she wanted to start working out. And
but she's just a singer.
I understood. But then a whole bunch of people gave her shit for it.
Yeah.
Like, how insanely retarded are you?
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm using the word because it's fine. Retarded.
Yeah.
That's a retarded view, is to think like someone losing weight is like leaving your thing. And then, so this woman, right?
She was in pain.
Lizzo went through something similar. She was talking about losing weight, whatever. So now this woman, this is where it goes to another level of what pisses me off. This lie. It is a lie. She did this whole body positivity movement. The problem with it is it's telling the lie that don't worry, you can be any size and just as healthy. When this woman herself, who was sort of selling this, if you will, right?
Yeah, she was saying, she never actually said, though, I'm happy being fat.
Right, no, but the point is... She just
said, this is who I am.
She was creating a movement or a group of people that are big and whatever. Yeah. But what she was hiding underneath is she's incredibly unhealthy, right? Because if she says that, right, it hurts the body positivity move. And here's the problem with body... It is actually bullshit. It actually hurts people more than it helps. Because again, if you were being honest and telling the truth, like you can have a looks positivity, like whatever you look like, fine. But don't tell people that there's nothing unhealthy about being morbidly obese.
Yeah.
Can you help him? He's trying
to... morbid. That's what I'm saying. She was morbidly obese.
There's no question that there is a link, okay? Sure. Are there people who are obese that are fine and healthy? I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
But on average, if you are overweight significantly and you're not versus you're not, you are less healthy, right? So this idea that, and now listen, I'm not talking about shaming these people.
No,
I'm not saying like,
and I feel like people have it wrong too, because she wasn't saying, I love being fat. You know, some people do that. Like, oh, I love my.
She just accepted that she was.
This is what I am. I wish they had more clothes for us. That's what it was about.
Right.
Fair, like that. It wasn't like, oh,
like imagine a movement that says, don't you dare lose weight.
That's what it feels like.
Right. Oh, you're 300 pounds. Don't you dare. You keep these clothes. It's for all of us and don't leave us. Right. A lot of it is the mirror syndrome. You know, familiar with that?
Mirroring?
Yeah. Like the mirror syndrome where it's like, let's say, for example, let's say in a couple, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say you were doing amazing things and doing whatever, and I'm not doing shit.
Yeah.
Right. I might like look at you, resent you for what you're doing because it's really a mirror of myself and the stuff that I'm not doing. Right.
Yeah.
So somebody who's big or whatever.
I've never felt that way, by the way.
Right. Some people who are big, they decide to work out, they get lean. Everybody else in the world is like, congratulations. But you, because you're still stuck there, you're like, screw that bitch. She was one of us and she left us. Like, this is where, again, I don't want to, but it's like, this is where wokeness goes wrong. Mm-hmm. The inclusivity of things that are just bad ideologies or bad ideas, right? You can be loving, you can be supportive, you can say, listen, I understand your plight. I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy to be healthy, but like, you know what though? At the bottom of at the end of the day, it's like, let's try to, let me do what I can to push you there. Yeah. Not do this, not go, you know what? Hey, you know, you're 350, 400 pounds. Cool. Good for you. Keep eating, you know, keep doing videos on TikTok of what you eat in a day and show us that you ate 4 Big Macs with 3 milk chocolates, whatever. like, come on. What are we doing here? Because
I think that people,
it's too far the other way. We want to make sure that kids, especially young girls, are accepted for who they are and not feel shame and anorexia. But at the same time, we can't lie to them and be like, oh, just go the other way and you'll be fine. Because it is not true. And when I hear some people in the medical field
you're also talking about the people, like the ones that you're talking about, how they eat on there and like show all their meals. This girl was just a bigger girl who tried on clothes. Sure. She didn't say you should eat badly, you should be fat. None of that stuff. She was just a bigger girl. Mm-hmm. So when she went through this weight loss surgery, she said, first of all, you can tell people in your own time. It's no one's business. But she went through this weight loss surgery and she said she regretted it at first because for 6 whole weeks she was throwing up, vomiting terribly. She was like, something's wrong with me. Like it didn't go well. Of course, you're not going to talk about that, right? On your social media. And it took her a whole year to even want to talk about what she had done. And now she's telling about it. But they're like, you're a sellout because you waited to do it on Khloe Kardashian's podcast for clout. Mm-hmm. And instead of just telling us this group of people who've supported you for 4 years, now you just left us.
Yeah. And I want to say, I sort of spoke about wokeness, if you will, but like, I understand the wanting to make the insecure feel secure. I do. It's really powerful. It's really important, which is a segue I want to get to right after this, about Vaughn. But at the same time, you have to be, you don't want to go to the other extreme, right? Mm. Like, okay, you accept, you are what you are, your body's your body, whatever. We can't deny, like we talk about science, as we trust the science. It's like, okay, you know what the science says? If you're overweight, like by a significant amount, this is going to cause you a myriad of health problems. Let's tell the truth, right? Mm-hmm. If you're overweight and you don't want to change and that's you, good for you. But I don't think that's a message that we want to champion and a message that we want to promote to especially the young kids. Yeah. The young kids should get the message of this. Be the best version of yourself. And you know what? Yeah. Here's the thing. The best version of yourself is not obese. What? Nobody in the world, the best version of themselves
it's just
is
healthy.
Like morbidly obese.
She was unhealthy.
Oh, yeah.
But she didn't always feel that way. So she just started to get sick. And that's what happens, right? She's 30 years old. She started to feel sick. And she's like, I got to do something about this now. Right? Yeah. And what bothers me, though, is that it's grown women who come after her. We're not talking about young girls. These are like women in their 30s and 40s that are like, also morbidly obese, who are like saying she is a sellout to them. And it's like, well, yeah. My mind is blown.
Exactly. Everything I said is where it comes from, I think. Like the mirroring and stuff like that.
Like they're so upset that maybe they don't have the money to do the weight loss surgery or something, maybe, or because I think they would do it if they could. Yeah. Do you?
Probably.
Do you think that they want to be at that place, or do you like?
I think whenever you're an influencer, right, or promoting things to kids, whatever, you're put in a different position, right? So whatever you do is going to have an impact. This is sort of what we were discussed when the guy asked me that question about, we feel any special care of the things that we say because we have influence over people, right?
But usually adults, right?
Yeah. Well, whatever. But like,